Did you know women represent just 3% of Fortune 500 CEOs and less than 15% of corporate executives at top companies worldwide? Have you wondered what the secrets are to getting into the top ranks, whether in the private or public sector? Do you want to figure out how to stop being held back in your career or passed over for promotion? Then you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, President and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. I have decades of experience in the military, the federal government, and corporate America, and my mission is to help women succeed and tap into their full potential. I want to reach 1 million plus women around the world to become the leaders they are meant to be. So if you want to move into a management or executive level position, or maybe you are a female veteran transitioning out of the military into business entrepreneurship, then reach out to the Executive Women's Success Institute at 301-693-3284. Let us get you on the fast track to success. Well, hello and welcome to the Successful Women Show. I am Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, your host, and my mission is to help women accelerate the path to success. Well, tonight's topic is a voice for the voiceless, and my guest is Dr. Sherrie A. Johnson. Let me give you just a little background on Dr. Johnson. Dr. Sherrie A. Johnson is an expert in organizational leadership, communication, and how authentic leader behavior affects employee job performance. She is an authority on leading and communicating in a global environment and competency in leadership. As a teacher, consultant, and executive coach, Dr. Johnson shows individuals, colleges, and companies how to communicate, develop talent to provide organizational effectiveness. Her research focuses on authentic leadership and how it positively affects employees' job performance in an organization. Dr. Johnson has served in a leadership capacity as a vice president, director for local government, secondary and K through 12 public education organizations, and corporate communications. She has also served as part of the executive management team in leadership roles. I'd like to bring on to the show Dr. Sherrie Johnson.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Happy to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I can't wait for us to get into our conversation. But before I get started, I always read the standard bio of my guests, but then I like to ask you, tell us what you want us to know about Dr. Sherrie A. Johnson.
Wow, thank you. One of the things that I would like for you to know about me is I speak and I talk about authentic leadership and authentic leadership in the workplace. And one of the things, I'm one of those people, I talk the talk, but I also walk the walk. So I exhibit these values. An authentic leader is someone that is open, honest, and transparent and communicates well with employees. So I hold an executive management, a senior level position. And so I try to practice that each and every day in the decisions I make and in communicating with my coworkers as well as my staff.
Wow. So tell us, I know you also have a business, Sherrie Johnson Communications, LLC. Tell us a little bit about your business.
So my business, so exciting. So with Sherrie Johnson Communications, LLC, I offer authentic leadership speaking. I'm a public speaker.
Mhm.
I also offer training on leadership development. And I also have online courses as well, online courses in leadership development, about 8 modules. And I also offer a online course, Life After News. I am a former television reporter and anchor, And so I also help journalists transition that are leaving the news business and want to transition into a new career. And so, yeah, and I'm also a published author. I have a book on Amazon, Authentic Leadership in the Workplace, and that's doing pretty well. So, yeah, I have, multifaceted. So, enjoy public speaking, offering trainings in leadership development, as well as offering online courses.
Wow. Now, you seem to do a lot with authentic leadership. Tell us, what is authentic leadership? Give us your definition of that.
So, an authentic leader is someone that is open, honest, transparent, and communicates well with employees. I recently obtained my doctorate in education, and I studied authentic leadership, and I wrote my dissertation on authentic leadership and how it affects employees. And
Mhm,
through my research, I learned that when you're an authentic leader, someone that's open and honest, staff members trust you. This is a leader that has morals and ethics, and staff members respect that. And in turn, they tend to perform better when they trust and respect their leader. And, when I was doing the research and I wrote my dissertation and passed the defense, I thought, you know what, this is important information. And
mhm,
this is important information that I need to share with the public, not just academics. And that's how I came to write the book. And this is why I enjoy my public speaking tour and speaking with people about authentic leadership, because authentic leadership is one of the newer style leaderships.
mhm,
You have transformational leadership, servant leadership, you have all kinds of leaderships, and those are, older.
mhm,
Whereas authentic leadership was developed in 2003. So it's one of the newer ones, and not one that people know a lot about or hear a lot about. So
mhm,
I pride myself on educating folks and letting them know a little bit more about it, because the research shows we need more positive leadership styles in the workplace, because some employees are suffering at the hands of malicious leaders. So it's important to have leadership styles that embody ethics and morality. And that's something that authentic leadership does.
mhm. Now, with employees, a lot of them now working from home, how do you think, or do you think that as a leader, how do you still remain, should I say, authentic to your staff? I mean, how can you still get that across to them when a lot of them are not in the same space? They're like kind of spread out. Like I said, they're working from home, and you don't have a whole lot of face to face, other than maybe sometimes when you have the meetings over Zoom or what have you. How can you still keep that authentic leadership style, and also keep that performance, keep them performing up to their peak?
So, one of the things is, like I mentioned, with authentic leadership, an authentic leader is someone that is open, honest, and transparent and communicates well with their staff. So, even if they are working from home, you still keep those lines of communication open, whether that's by a virtual meeting, a Microsoft Teams, a Zoom, Google Chat. You're still communicating with them. You're still checking in with them, seeing how they're doing. You're still, maybe it's a phone call, but you're still keeping those lines of communication open by communicating with them. Just because they're working from home doesn't mean they've fallen off the ends of the earth. You're still checking in with them, making sure they're doing okay. Are they facing any challenges? How can you support them? How can you help them? And again, an authentic leader is someone that's open and honest, someone that employees respect. So if you are carrying yourself in a moral and ethical way, and you're making ethical decisions for the company or for the organization, that's going to prove helpful in employee performance.
Mhm. Now, we hear this term leadership all the time, and people are in leadership positions, and we also know that sometimes there are people in leadership roles that are not, they don't really make good leaders. But why do you think leadership is important? And do you think it's important more so to the employees, or is it more so to the company itself or the organization itself?
Wow, leadership is very important. Leaders set the tone, they set the example. and employees follow that example. Okay. So if you have an immoral or unethical leader, then employees are going to think, well, they're doing it, so I'm going to do that. So it's important to have an ethical leader, one that the employees can respect, because they are going to follow and do what that leader does. Okay,
Mhm.
so if you want good performance, it starts at the top. It starts at the top, and people will emulate and they will follow what their leaders are doing. So it's so important to have good leadership. It is very important.
Now, in your trainings and the things that you do in your organization and in your business, do you find that you have a lot of women in leadership roles, or is it equal, or is it kind of off balance with more men in that those leadership roles? And how can you do you think we if it is unbalanced with more men in the roles, how do we get more women to take on those leadership roles?
So I'm not really sure how balanced it is. I don't have research to support that, but I know we are seeing more and more women coming into leadership roles as CEOs, as presidents of colleges, and things of that nature, which is a good thing.
Mhm.
I think women, men, the more inclusive we can be, the better. Okay. People are, talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's not just a hot button topic. It's so important for companies and organizations to really embody that and to give different people an opportunity and a seat at the table. And so I think it's wonderful that we are starting to see more and more women as CEOs, as presidents of companies, presidents of colleges. I think that's wonderful. And I think it gives a different perspective. And I think it gives a different way of thinking. And I think that's beneficial for the employees. So I think we are seeing more women in there. I don't know what the research says in terms of women and men, so I don't have that at my fingertips. But I can say that I think it's wonderful to see inclusivity and see a difference with a seat at the table. I think that's healthy, and I think that we're stronger together. So I think that's a great thing.
Mhm. Now, do you also see where the women that are moving up in these leadership roles, are they reaching back and pulling other women up with them? Do you see a lot of that, or do you think that that still is something that needs to be worked on as far as women are concerned?
I think I'm seeing people helping one another, giving people opportunities. I think yeah, you can say yeah, you are seeing that happen. But of course, you're selecting folks that are qualified for the job, but also giving them an opportunity to spread their wings, but also making sure that folks have the qualifications to do the job. Because of course, you wouldn't want to put someone in a situation that they could not handle. But it is a great idea to give people an opportunity and a chance to spread their wings.
Absolutely. So, why is it important for leaders to communicate well with their staff? Why do you feel that's an important factor?
Well, communication is so important. I mean, employees have to know and understand what the expectation is. They have to know, what do you expect from me? What do you want me to do? And if you don't communicate with them, they have no idea, and it's hard for them to be successful. Some of the, one of the, complaints or that many employees have is a lack of communication. I know when I was doing my research and I was meeting with employees across the country, some of the things that they said was, sometimes I don't hear from leadership. They don't have staff meetings, they don't have one-on-ones, we just, radio silence. We don't hear anything. And so it is very important to communicate with staff and let them know what's going on in the organization, what's happening. They shouldn't see something about their company on the news. They should hear that from the leadership. It's important to have newsletters, email blasts, robocalls, staff meetings, one-on-one check-ins. It's so important to do all those things, to communicate with staff so that they understand and know the expectations, and they can be successful in their roles. Because when they don't hear from leaders, they don't know what's expected. And that makes it difficult for them to do their job. So leadership and communication is so very important.
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, as you were saying, if they don't know what's going on, or they hear about it on the news or something like that, again, then you run into sometimes maybe the morale issues.
Yes.
I'm not being kept in the loop, so why should
Mhm.
I even care what's going on if they don't care enough about me to let me know what's going on.
And
So
you're absolutely correct. And then there comes the part two about allowing employees to be a part of the decision-making process. When they are part of the decision-making process, then they feel committed and they want to stay longer at that organization. And so that also is a part of communication, allowing employees to be a part of the decision-making process. And that's also a form of communicating with them, letting them in, letting them have a voice.
absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. Now,
Mhm.
in your business, your company, do you find that you do more training of women than you do men, or is it a mixture of both?
It is a mixture of both. I would say it's a good mixture of both. Yes, it's a good mixture of both. I do have some men that I do train, and then I do have some women that I train. And so, a lot of them basically, one of the things is they want to communicate better with their staff. That's one of the and they want to improve performance as well. So I would say I have equal reaching out and training.
Mhm. Now, are the women, I keep asking you about the women because that's always my field. I work a lot with women, and
Mhm.
to see, I always like to see the perspective of other people, what they're seeing as far as in their organization. With the women that you get for the training, do you see a sometimes a lack of confidence in them as far as their leadership? Do they maybe stand in that role as confident as they should, or do you have to kind of help them sometimes to get that confidence, get that be assertive in that role so that they can be effective? And because sometimes for whatever reason, we both know that when a male is assertive, then that's good. But when a female tends to be assertive, she tends to get another name sometime, or another label. So do you see a lot of women who are unsure in their roles as leadership, and so you have to help them to gain that confidence, to gain that assertiveness?
So I don't know if it's a lack of confidence. I think some of the things that we'll talk about are situations and scenarios. And, did I handle that scenario correctly, or could I have done that better? Or, if I'm with this situation, what would be a great way to handle that? So, just maybe reinforcement, or just someone to sometimes just bounce ideas off of, just someone to say, hey, could I have handled that differently? Or what are your thoughts on that? If I have an employee that comes to me with this situation, how best to handle something like that? And especially like in diversity situations, how should I handle that? So not really a lack of confidence. They're pretty confident, but
Mhm.
just wanting to just double check and make sure that they're handling that in the best possible light, and they're presenting themselves in the best possible light as a leader. And then one of the questions that I have r- is surrounds communication. How
Mhm.
can I better communicate with my team? How can I keep them informed, and running things like that? That those are the kind of things. Not really a lack of confidence, but just double checking. And knowledge is power. and
Yep.
and fo- and a good leader is always learning. You can always learn something new. So I think it's wonderful when they reach out and want training, and don't sit there and think that they know everything, and they're constantly learning, and trying to figure out, because employees are constantly changing, and the needs, and everybody is different. You know, you could have 50 employees, but you have different personalities and different they need different things. So sometimes it's about situational leadership, and you may have to lead depending on the situation and the circumstances. And different employees may need different things from you.
Mhm.
And so you have to be all things to different people. And so,
Absolutely.
you know, just going over those things and how do you manage that? And self-care, you know, taking care of yourself as well. So, you know, a lot of different things, a lot of different things.
Now, I had a question for you from in the chat room. The person wants to know, what are your thoughts about macro managers versus
Mhm.
micro managers?
So, you know, and I know employees do not like micromanagers, and but I think too, honestly, with that, it really depends on the employee. Okay, and sometimes I guess when a leader wants to make sure, that folks are getting work done,
Mhm.
sometimes there may be a little micromanaging. But I think sometimes with the employee would have to step back and say, hey, because I've had people, have a conversation with you and say, hey, I got this. You don't have to ask me 50 times. I have it.
Mhm.
And so, when you have those employees that, and when you have those that you ask them one time, boom, get it done. Well, then
Mhm.
they're good. I don't have to ask them 50 times. But when you have those employees that miss a deadline, or something keeps coming up and keep pushing the deadline back, or they don't get to it, and then that's when you tend to hover, and you have to ask for it. And of course, no leader wants to ask for something 50 times.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think sometimes the employee has to ask, okay, well, why are they like this? And what am I doing that could help the situation. And I think if you are one of those people that you only need to be told one time, have a conversation with your supervisor to let them know, hey, I function better if you just tell me one time,
Mhm.
let me know my due date. Now if I miss my due date, that's another story. Okay, so then you have that conversation. Have that conversation and be transparent, be upfront and honest about how you work. And then I think that the leader should respect that and follow the employee's lead.
Absolutely. Now,
Mhm.
do you have any uh, as far as nonprofits, maybe how they would differ from for-profit organizations, especially when it comes to the leadership and the authentic leadership too. Do you think that there would be a difference there in the two, because one is a nonprofit and then the other is, for-profit?
Well, just in the corporate world, it's a different mindset, about making money and revenue and things like that. So there is a need for meeting certain deadlines, and so there's a different thought process in the for-profit and corporate world than there is with nonprofits. So there probably would be a difference of the goals, and
Mhm.
really and truthfully, it goes back to a company's vision and mission statement. That's ultimately what it is. Just following whatever your vision and mission statement is, and then making sure the employees follow it as well. But I would say probably in the corporate world, they're more results oriented, looking for that monetary result than I would say nonprofit are.
Mhm. Wow. Absolutely. I never thought about it like that, but you're absolutely correct. I know that you have your book, so we're going to talk about that. But first, I want to show your book trailer. So let's take a few minutes out, and we'll go and show your book promo, and then we'll come back and discuss your book.
Okay, sounds good.
All righty.
So one day, my boss calls me in for my evaluation. It was a good evaluation. Excellent. I was doing everything that I needed to do. But she challenged me to be a leader in the newsroom. So fast forward a few years, and I went on to get my master's in communications and my doctor of education in organizational leadership. It is important for leadership to have ethical behavior in order to move these college campuses forward in a positive direction.
Wow. So talk to us about that book, Authentic Leadership in the Workplace. Tell us, now I know that it kind of stemmed from your research when you were doing your dissertation, but tell us about that book and kind of what's involved in it, and just give us maybe some little snippets of it.
So there's about 8 chapters. It's a quick read,
Mhm.
and like I said, it is a labor of love. I did all the research. I interviewed about 12 to 15 people, individual interviews, focus groups, employees across the country. It was during COVID, so everything was on Zoom, but just interviewed people all across the country, talking about leaders and how they excel, or how when they perform well, or when they don't want to perform well, and just found a lot of interesting information. And for example, in the book, I talk about one university. They actually came back too early. They were 100% virtual, and decided to come back a little too soon. Made a unilateral decision to come back, and after 1 week, they had to send everyone home because they
Mm.
had a huge COVID outbreak.
Wow.
And when I spoke to some of the staff, they were like very upset. They thought that was a very embarrassing moment. They thought it was unethical, and that the college did not care about them and didn't care about their health. And they did not include staff members in the decision making, because the faculty probably would have told them that was not a good decision, because they're in the classrooms with the students. So just talking with them, hearing how they feel when certain decisions are made. And it was just it was just very interesting, especially being a leader myself and being able to hear firsthand how they feel about certain situations. So it really makes you think. And so I have a number of case studies in the book
Mhm.
where we talk a little bit about certain examples, and then we have application. Okay, so how could we have done this differently with a different outcome? I had another situation where I interviewed an athletic director, and he was talking about a situation at a university where the football team made millions, large amounts of money, but that revenue was given to the band to help the band. And so they were very the football team, they were very upset because they earned the money. So they felt like it should go to them. They needed new uniforms, they needed equipment. So they didn't like the decision from the leadership, and therefore he actually ended up leaving. But even before that, his performance went down because he just lost respect for the leadership because of that decision. So it was really eye opening to see how certain behavior can just, cause folks to just do the bare minimum or not try at all. Or when they're very happy or they're very excited or appreciative of the organization, how they go the extra mile, how they love coming to work, and how they're committed to the organization and they stay longer and there's less turnover. So we look at all of these kinds of things in the book, and talk a little bit about the research and in talking with the folks. But I just felt like it was important to share this with people because people needed to hear it and needed to know about it. I just didn't want the dissertation to sit on the shelf and get dusty. I wanted to put it to some good use.
Mhm.
And I'm really excited about it. As a matter of fact, I'm beginning to work on my second book, maybe do like a second edition, and add more to it and go out and begin to start working on more research. So the author and book publishing bug has bitten me. I like it. And so getting ready to start working on book number two. But it was a labor of love, very exciting to work on it, and put all the information. I'm a former journalist. I was a reporter and anchor for
Ah,
20 years. So I love to write. So this was just an extension of that. So I really enjoyed doing it. So looking forward to writing my next one.
wow. Now, I was going to ask you about that, about your being a broadcast journalist and having at least 20 years or so experience in that. So,
Mhm.
what took you out of that arena? What made you come out of that arena?
So, after 20 years, it just hit me. It was time for a change. It was time to do something else. It was time to move on. I just felt like that had run its course and it was time for something else. I was just wanting something new. I mean, reporting on murder and crime and tornadoes and wind and rain. So after a while, it was like, okay, I need to do something different. And so I transitioned into public relations and communications.
Mhm.
And from there, I went back to school and got my master's degree in communications. And then I began leading teams, leading communications teams. And so I went back to school and got my doctorate in organizational leadership. And so, honestly, sometimes people are afraid of change.
Mhm.
And, and it was a big step because reporting and anchoring, I had done that for 20 years on a local and national level. And I could do that with my hands tied behind my back. I could just do it. It came easily. So
Mhm.
then all of a sudden now you have to learn something different.
Right.
And so, in becoming a spokesperson or working in public relations for an organization, you now have to speak with their voice. And so
Right.
it's different. It is much different. And so
Mhm.
I had to learn that.
Mhm.
And so that was scary, but you know what? I'm so glad I did. I'm so happy in the space that I'm in now. And
Mhm.
why didn't I leave sooner? But, I'm happy to have had that experience and that knowledge because that experience as a reporter and anchor and the skill set that I learned helped propel me and prepare me for where I am now. And
Wow.
I'm leading teams and I'm coaching folks. And so that is something that I'm very excited about. So everything, there's a process, there's steps.
Absolutely.
And so it led me to this point where I am today. So it's all coming full circle. So it's all very exciting.
And it takes discipline and it takes that mindset to want to do it too. To want
Yes, yes, absolutely.
you your story is a little similar to mine as far as when you were doing your doctorate degree. I Mine is in organizational leadership too,
Uh,
and I I did the same thing. I interviewed like 20 women in and around the Washington D.C. area because I wanted to find out in those high positions that they were in, how they got there, how they stay there, the obstacles they face, and different things like that. So I did the same thing, and I actually went like you a step further and did a book relating to that also. But it's just interesting when I hear your story. It's like, oh wow, deja vu there.
Great minds think alike.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me, I know that you mentioned earlier that you have different things, different offers that you have in your business, in your program, coaching programs, different things like that. How can someone take advantage of what you offer?
Well, I have a website, www.sherriespeaks.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, Sherrie Johnson Communications. And yeah, my website is definitely probably the best place. But I'm also on social media and on Facebook, Executive Coach. .com. So yeah, definitely through my social media channels or my website. And on my website, there is a contact page where you can sign up for my newsletter, and then you also can put in your information and it'll come to me and you can reach me that way as well. So love to work with folks, love to chat with folks. So yeah, and hopefully, and also my book is on Amazon. Authentic Leadership in the Workplace by Dr. Sherrie Johnson. So that's on Amazon. You can pick that up. There's a ebook as well as a paperback.
Okay. And what's next? What anything coming up on the horizon that you want to let us know about? Any speaking engagements that you might have coming up, or workshops that you might want to let us know about that someone might be able to sign up for?
Yes, actually, I have a speaking engagement coming up. The federally employed women. I'm going to be speaking at their convention, their national convention. It's the week of July 11th. It's in Columbus, Ohio, and I am going to have three trainings while I'm there. One training session, it's about 75 minutes. It's on ethical leadership, and then there's another one on integrity in leadership. And then third one training I'm doing is communication and leaders. So helping leaders to communicate with their employees better. So three trainings, I'll be hosting those while I'm at the conference during that week. So that's in Columbus, Ohio. And also there's information on my website and on my social media platforms that have more on those conferences and how you can register for some of those trainings.
Wow. And just to let you know, federally employed women, I'm a lifetime member.
Oh, wonderful.
Lifetime member, yes. I actually used to be on the board, and so I used to do a lot with them also. And I mean, I still, I'm still in communication and contact with them,
Mhm.
but it's just interesting. It's just like you say, great minds think alike. So that is so good. And
I'm
I'm
very excited. I'm very
yeah,
excited. Yeah, very excited. I cannot wait. I'm really, really excited to get there and meet the people and and I'm so excited about the trainings and just hoping people sign up and we have a good crowd. So looking forward to it. And then I'll also have an opportunity
yeah,
to sell some books as well. So yeah, just looking forward to a great training session. I have three and just hoping we have a great turnout.
you will. You will love it. Definitely will.
Looking
Wow.
forward to it. Looking forward to it. And happy to be invited. Happy that they reached out and definitely happy to be there. So looking forward to it.
And I'm sure that I know I've seen you on the Black Business Network speaking at the Black Business Olympics. I'm sure I'll be seeing
Yes.
you again speaking
Yes.
on the platform also. So I tell you, if you had one piece of advice that you could leave with our viewers and our listeners, what would that piece of advice be?
Wow, that's a good one. Be your authentic self. And when it comes to integrity, always do the right thing even when no one is watching.
Wow. And tell us again how we can reach out to you if we want to get your book, if we want to find out about anything that you offer, your coaching programs. How can we find you?
My website is the best place to find out everything that I have going on. www.sherriespeaks.com, and Sherrie is Sherrie. So www.sherriespeaks.com. That's the best place to go and find out all of the different things that I have going on. And my social media handles are also on there as well. Again, I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. even on TikTok. And so, Sherrie Johnson Communications.
Wow. And the book is through and can get it through Amazon and
Yes.
Authentic Leadership in the Workplace.
Yes. On Amazon. Yes.
Gotcha. Wow. It has been a pleasure having you on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Given us some great nuggets to take away. I hope the viewers and listeners were taking notes and just, jotting down some of the things that you were saying, because we really appreciate the information that you shared tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. And thank you for this platform, to help women and get the word out about what they're doing. So thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. So now I'm just going to give some upcoming events that things that you might be interested that we have coming up. For one, you can now is the time to pre-order your copies of the Own It anthology. It's Your Life, Own It Unapologetically, and the journal, 365 Days to Transformation. To and journal separately, the journal by itself is $24.99, or the paperback book by itself is $24.99. But to order the complete set, both the book and the journal, is $49.99. So if you want to order your copies, you can email me at info@exwsi.com or go on my website. The links are on the website, and my website is www.exwsi.com. Also, make sure to tune in to the Black Business Olympics this month. The Black Business Olympics is a fundraiser to provide scholarships and laptops to high school seniors going to college and K through 12 entrepreneurs. The Black Business Olympics showcases Black business owners, and corporations all around the world. And if you'd like to be a speaker to showcase your business, you can also email me at info@exwsi.com, and we'll see about getting you on that platform. If you have not viewed my TEDx talk that I did in Vancouver, Canada, which is the topic was Show Up to Rise Up, make sure that you do so. You can watch it on YouTube, and to do so, you can put my name in the search box, Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, or if you want to, you can send me an email, info@exwsi.com, and I'll send you the direct link. Make sure to check it out, as I'm really excited because as of today, the video is at 168,828 views. And of course, my goal is to reach 1 million plus views and women out there. So thank you all for those of you that have already watched, have shared it. And so keep doing so, keep supporting. And again, I thank you for supporting my video, my TEDx talk. And finally, I am also a contributing writer to the Own It magazine, where I share nuggets and resources every month. Own It magazine is a resource for personal, professional, and business development. So make sure you get your subscription. And to do that, you can also go to my website. If you want to get an annual subscription, you can go to my website, www.exwsi.com. If you'd like to see one of the issues, you can also email me and I'll send you a link to take a look at one of the issues. Again, you have been watching the Success for Women show, where we are here, of course, every Friday. I'd like to thank my viewers and my listeners for joining me tonight. And I'd also especially like to thank my guest, Dr. Sherrie A. Johnson, for being here tonight. And if you'd like to reach out to me, again, make sure you go to info@exwsi.com or my website, which is www.exwsi.com. And while you're there, you can download my free 3-part video series on 3 things every woman should do to position herself for executive leadership. Again, if you'd like to reach out to me on any of the social media sites, you can. I am on all of them: LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. Also, make sure that you subscribe to our channel, like and share this episode with others so that they could get the benefits of the nuggets that was shared with us tonight. Again, this is the Success for Women show. We are here every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, helping women to accelerate the path to success. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you to my guest, Ms. Sherrie A. Johnson. I love you all to life. And as always, be well and stay safe out there. Thank you. Hi, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, host of the Success for Women show, which airs every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our mission is to help women accelerate the path to success. Women in the workplace, women in business, and women who aspire to become business owners, live their dreams, and reach their goals. So join us Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support. Where health education is abundant. Where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City, USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.